Hi. So, I came up with this new idea of making videos, very simple videos, talking about me and my week because I thought this would be a good opportunity for us to practice a little more our English, for you to practice your listening skills, and maybe to review some vocabulary. So the idea is that sometimes we don't really have the time to talk about our week in our classes because there are so many things to do, or maybe we just forget about it, or maybe we just don't want to talk about it. So this way you would be able to know me a little better and the things that I think, the things that I believe in, my routine and the things that I do. And maybe these will, other than improve your listening skills, which would be the main focus, it would maybe help us connect more and come up with more subjects to talk in our classes. And for those of you who are only beginners, I'll always try to speak slowly and putting some of the vocabulary in the video. And I think that probably you are going to understand most of it. So, as I said, the idea is to be simple and just talking about normal daily life activities that I engage in, and maybe discuss some current topics, and very informal as well. So as you can see, my hair is still wet because I've just come from my swimming class and I'm still wearing my sweatshirt. This is the first swimming class that I actually used my legs to swim, because the past few weeks, as you know, my foot was broken, my ankle was broken, so I couldn't really practice and I was swimming only using my arms, which is very boring and very tiring because, you know, only using your arms without your legs to help, the effort on your arms is much bigger. The last week was very tiring for me because, as you know, I teach mornings, afternoons, and evenings. And also I had a lecture in a city in the south of Santa Catarina called Tubarão. And it was a lecture about feminism, which is the main cause that I fight for in my life. Most of my days are about teaching. I teach mostly all day long, but all my free time I dedicate to the feminist cause and some other causes such as animal rights. As you can see, this is my cat, Crocat, and also fighting for better conditions for people to use bicycles. So this would be the three things that I engage more frequently: feminist cause being number one, and animal cause being number two, and bicycle cause being number three. And it was very interesting, this lecture in Tubarão, because it was the first time that I talked to an audience that I wasn't expecting that, so it was a good surprise. But it was the first time that I talked to an audience that agreed with me all the time. It was a lecture for a teachers union, and so for private schools. So usually private schools teachers are middle class and they have a good life condition, so it's a little difficult to make them understand what feminism is about, because it's not so common to see oppression explicitly among them. So I wasn't expecting all that support. I was expecting people to be a little resistant to what I was saying, a little resistant to what I was saying, but it wasn't like that. And it was also very interesting because I have all the things that I'm going to say, I usually have on a piece of paper so that I don't forget anything, data, statistics, and things like that. And I always have this little cheat paper so that I can look at. And the thing is that when you have a paper with the script that you are going to say, usually you don't improvise that much because you have a paper. So you kind of get stuck on the paper, looking at the paper, kind of reading the paper, and it's not something natural, and it's a little robotic sometimes, even though I am a good speaker. But this time in Tubarão, the printer wasn't working at the union's headquarters, and so I kind of had to improvise the whole thing. I only had my presentation, and I had to improvise the whole thing, and it was really interesting because I discovered that I can actually improvise, because it was excellent. They laughed a lot, they loved me, and the main result of this is that probably there is going to be a women's group in Tubarão from now on, because they really decided to start organizing a women's movement organization there, for women there to start fighting for their rights. So it was really nice. And then I got back from Tubarão on Saturday. I arrived home at 7:30 p.m. and I already had another thing to go to. I had an event called Pet Fest. It was for the animals protectors in Blumenau to raise money for surgeries and veterinary bills and things like that. So I went. It was in a place in called Cafundó in Pastor Osvaldo Hess, and it was going to be a rock concert with 3 bands. And I wasn't really expecting much. It was an event that we vegans decided to go to give out some flyers about veganism, about other alternatives for people to eat with less cruelty, eating food with less animals in it. And so the big question for the event was, why do you love some animals, like cats and dogs, and eat other animals, like cows and pigs? Just for people to think a little about that, about how incoherent this idea is, that you love cats and dogs so much, but you don't really care about cows and pigs and other animals in the food industry. So we went there to work, and I was really tired because I had just driven from Tubarão to Blumenau, but I had to go there. And in the end, it was pretty cool. People were very receptive to the idea. Some of them talked to us, telling us that they were already vegetarians. This is Pirulito, my other cat. And some of them talked to us about how to transition from vegetarianism to veganism, which is a big step. And we stayed there until, I don't know, 3 a.m., 2:30 something. The concert was excellent. The 3 bands were super cool. And then that was it. And then I came home, slept a lot, and got ready for Mother's Day on Sunday, that I had to stay with my mother for a while. I guess for today this is it. I hope you could understand most of the things that I said, and the words are here for you maybe to look up in the dictionary or just to help you understand everything. I'm going to keep on doing these videos weekly, probably, if I have the time, because you know I don't really have enough time to do everything that I want to, but I think this is a good idea. And if you want to suggest something, okay, if you want to suggest something for me to talk about, if you have a question, not grammar questions, let's leave the grammar questions for class. Let's do this a little more interesting for us. So if you have any questions about my cats, about Pirulito, about my routine, about my life, about my ideas, or something you would like me to talk about, you can tell me in class or comment on the video and I'll try to do it. Okay, bye.